Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chef's Meal, where we talk about whatever and never and everything else in between. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. Special episode. We usually typically do a live one also at night with my co-host Sean. However, today we are with Mr. Mark Freeman from GPAD. What's up, Mark?
Yeah, nothing much, man. Just excited to be chatting to you after listening to your music on repeat for the last 24 hours.
Thank you so much, man. That is such a high compliment. I cannot stress that enough.
Oh man, your music, seriously, it's good. Definitely, very, very good.
Are you a fan of rock music?
That is the surprising thing. I'm not. Like my music, the music I like is all electronic, it's lo-fi, it's kind of like a relaxed hip-hop beat. So I don't listen to too much rock music. But when you sent over your all your bits and bobs and your links, and I was just checking out kind of who you are, getting a feel for what you're passionate about, it just blew me away. Yeah, that track that I featured on the Instagram is just fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
And you're welcome.
I dig lo-fi too, but we'll get into the whole music thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind, can you tell who you are, what you do, and what exactly is your passion?
Okay, yeah. So my name's Mark Freeman. I live in the southeast of the UK, about hour and a half from London. Probably most of you guys in the States you know London. And I recently launched a website called GoProAfterDark.com, but everyone just calls it GPAD. And essentially it's a platform for documenting people and their passions. So I try and reach out to people who are into photography, perhaps they like food, they love music, they like adventures, cycling, literally anything. And I try to kind of piece together small stories about why they love to do that. You know, are they lucky enough to do something for a living? Is it just a hobby for them? Do they want to kind of take it from a hobby and into something that they can scale and make some money from? Like, these things just interest me. And for years I've been trying to kind of think of a way to turn that passion that I have for other people's passions into something that, you know, people can visit and interact with. So yeah, that's what I do. I document people's passions. It's
more of it's more typically like a vlog, but literally on paper format, and it's quite interesting. But it's more specific. It's not just random kind of things that we put onto internet. This is like a specific, you kind of delve into them, get to know them in a sheet of paper all in one go. That's why it's really intriguing, because it kind of does the same as my questions for food. And as you'll find out in a moment, as we get to know Mr. Mark Freeman here all the way in the UK. First of all, do you eat dairy?
Do I? Yeah, I do. Yeah, there's very few things that I don't eat. One of them actually would be goats. Anything goat related I won't touch. That's probably about it actually. It's the texture. It's the texture. Oh, I can't.
It's the texture.
It's when it gets on the teeth, and no, just thinking about it, I have to back away. I can't do it.
So you can't do cream cheese. You can't do anything mushy.
The like mushiness. Eggplant. It's just the goat mushiness. If that makes any sense at all.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, it is. I can't handle it. But anything else, I'll eat anything.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Okay. So I call this the burst fire round, much in the same likeness as you have on your webpage. But this is relating to food. But we will get to kind of the same aspect of what your passion is. What do you absolutely refuse to eat? Besides goat cheese.
Oh.
Besides goat cheese, let's dig deeper.
Can it still be another cheese?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, blue cheese. It's the only thing that's ever given me food poisoning was a dodgy piece of blue cheese. So yeah, that's another thing I won't touch.
It's
other than that, probably
texture that you cannot.
It's just that texture. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of squid either.
Okay.
You know, squid. So yeah,
a
that's
little too viscous.
About it.
Is that what it is? The slimy feeling.
Yeah, it's for me. Food's all about texture, obviously taste and smell. But if it doesn't have that, the texture's just a little bit off. I just can't do it. Can't handle it.
So it's the mushy / creamy / cheesy texture that you kind of do not gel.
Yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. No.
So if I were to make you a ghost cheese sandwich with fried squid on it, I mean, that's a good day for me, but that's maybe a nightmare for you.
That's the worst day for me. I'll be backing out the door very slowly.
In terms of some of your other passions, now I know you kind of do some other things besides the web design. Do you also do photography, videography?
Yeah, so what I mentioned before about documenting people's passions, that's always going to be the core of the website, and for that reason that will always be free. I don't charge people, I never ask for money, but what that does is it hopefully brings people to my page and get familiar with the platform, and then from that there are separate areas that are paid services. So you know, I love taking photographs, I really enjoy the process of making videos, and I'm trying to combine that in a way that allows companies to think, okay, maybe this guy or this GPAD platform could also take care of some product videos and product shoots with a bit more flair. Maybe they could come in and do some interviews for our business where we can talk about what we're passionate about to then put onto social media or websites. So there's always that second half of the coin. You know, you've got to still make an income from it.
Oh, I definitely do. I kind of want to pull up our that little document that you put up in a second here once we get to it. The most disgusting thing you have ever eaten.
The most disgusting thing. So one of my sisters lives in Australia.
Okay.
And years ago, when she lived on the West Coast in Perth, I went out to see her, and we went to this restaurant, middle of nowhere. Australia, as you know, it's nothing on the inside, it's all on the outside. But we drove for hours to this kind of like, I call it a restaurant, it was more like a shack. And it was the first time I'd ever tried kangaroo, and that, no.
Oh, kangaroo is a no-no.
Just no. Just a no-no, yeah. Just really chewy. It felt wrong because I love kangaroos. You see them hopping about. I got nothing but love for them. And when I found out it was kangaroo, that was it. There was no dessert. We just left. Yeah, I didn't know what it was. It was like, I just walked in, they served up all these different kind of meat dishes and all chips and coleslaw and all the rest of it. And I just tried eating it, and yeah, not for me.
Is it the... I haven't had kangaroo, but you can often compare it to something of with the same kind of gameness, like a venison kind of type. Slightly more chewy. I don't mind it. I love the gamey flavor. I mean, I'm all about whatever kind of food, whatever it is. Is that what puts you off more so than the actual texture? Because I know it becomes not necessarily tough, but it's a hard chew from that.
Yeah, it is.
Creature.
It is really hard, and I just didn't get much flavor from it. Probably because it was just burnt on a barbecue in a shack in the middle of nowhere. That probably didn't help. But yeah, just no flavor, really tough and chewy. And then at the end of it, to find out that, you know, once a few months back, it was hopping around, enjoying its life, just put me off.
So how do you feel about chickens and pigs then? Do you eat meat?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah. But I've got no love. I've got no love for chicken or pigs. I'm sorry.
It's just the kangaroo. You're like, not
just
the kangaroo.
Leave the kangaroos alone.
Okay. Well, that kind of segues into the next one. Have you ever eaten anything weird in terms of any kind of food, protein wise? And you know, kangaroo would kind of fit into that? Can you think of one other thing that would kind of fall into that?
Another weird... See, I knew that we'd be talking about food, but I didn't really think about what I've eaten. So this is tough. Another weird thing.
You have to rack your brain. It doesn't have to be like a... Protein can be in any form. It can be bugs. It can be...
bugs.
Kind of worms or anything.
I went to... what's it called? Cancun in Mexico.
Mexico.
We went off the beaten track, away from all of like the established restaurants, and there were people selling dried bugs, salted, and I ate them. That was weird. What
were it? Grasshoppers?
To be honest, I have no idea what they were, but they were like maybe crickets. Yeah, they had like the larger hind legs that kind of poked back. Yeah. And they'd obviously kind of like sun dried them and then salted them, and yeah, they were fantastic. They were good.
Yeah,
it was just like bugs. Peanuts.
Yeah. I'm from the Philippines originally, so before I came over when I was 12, I was already half a grown man. But by the time I came to the States, my diet was ridiculous back in the Philippines because you pretty much eat anything, and it's the way I kind of explain this. Here in the U.S., it's wrong to kind of think about your household pets as food. But in the Philippines, where at different sections of it, some people are not allowed or have the access to beef or chicken or pork. So we turn to, what you call dogs or cats. And we grow them just exact same way, out in the pasture. And I've eaten them. And that's kind of normal there. Also like bugs, snakes, and all that. That's also normal. But I still remember the first time I came over, and they're like, what kind of food have you eaten? That's weird. I'm like, well, have you ever had a dog or a cat? And people would look at you really funny here in the U.S. They're like, it's like, well, I came from a different country. Don't snipe me.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, same here in England. Just like in the States, not everyone, but most people, if they have a pet, it's going to be a dog or a cat. So when you talk about the fact that, in your country, it's fairly normal, if not standard to eat them, it's going to probably freak people out. But I think I'm fairly open-minded. I don't mind giving things a go, even if it is just once, like the kangaroo.
Yeah. Talking about that, though, what is kind of like a regional thing there? Are you born and raised in London, where you are?
Yeah, born and raised, yeah.
What are some, if you can think about it, what are some of like the local, regional thing that you've eaten, only specific to you guys, that you can think of, nothing else, that I would have probably eaten here in the U.S. or in the Philippines?
What, so like traditional Southeast
like a traditional,
England?
whatever you guys...
Oh, right, yeah. Well, you got the Sunday roast. Like standard,
what is a Sunday roast?
So over here, typically you'll have roast potatoes, usually a roast chicken. We tend to kind of put stuffing in there. You might want to get a bit crazy, put some mixed herbs, lemons, limes, whatever you want to do. Orange is popular nowadays. We tend to put fresh orange inside as well, just to get a bit more of that flavour. And then it's up to you. You can customise. So over here we go for parsnips, Brussels sprouts, if you're into Brussels sprouts. That's probably about it. Some chopped carrot in there. That's kind of the traditional go-to. A lot of people in this country, Sunday, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we're sitting down with our families having a roast dinner.
Okay, that's interesting. It's all different, typically. I wasn't raised in a household where Sunday was like our main kind of get together. Every day was kind of a Sunday for us. However, there is a meal that we do on Fridays. It's not necessarily like a Filipino thing, but on Fridays, my grandma would make what you call like a potluck, but our version of it, aka whatever was left over in the fridge, goes on top of the table, and we all have to eat it before the weekend is over. So that became like our thing. I don't want to start it here with my family, but I just figured that was a fun kind of segue into it. In terms of, do you have like a YouTube channel also, or like a podcast?
So at the moment, we have to kind of go back to 2016, which is when I first had this idea. So back then I created all of the channels, set them all up, but it's literally since the start of the coronavirus pandemic that I really just got my arse into gear, purely because outside of that I've always worked for other people. You know, I've always been an employee. So as anybody knows, when you've got your own ideas and things that you want to kind of create and perhaps turn into a business, it's tough to find that extra time outside of the working hours, you know, to get things working. So it's taken a while to get to the point where I can now work freelance and put my time into building this platform. So there's a YouTube channel, but it has no publicly listed videos.
Got it.
There's Twitter, which I'm now active in using, the same as Instagram is probably where I'm most active, and you know, talking to people through the stories. There's a Twitch channel, which is all set up, ready to go. So I'll be doing a live stream probably tonight, actually. Yeah. What is it? Thursday. So I'll be on Twitch tonight. Yeah. Happy days. So everything's kind of there, but the kind of person that I am, I think I have in my mind the exact way that I want pictures to look, not only taken but also edited and stylized. I know exactly how I want videos to look. I know all of the things that I want to happen and how I want to portray not only my passions but other people's. But in 2016 I didn't know how to get that out of my head and onto a screen. And 2017 I began to then think, well, how do I make a website? You know, do I use a customizer like Squarespace or Wix, or do I try and learn it myself? Then you met with the challenges of cameras. How can I take better photos? What do I need to learn? What do I need to understand? Then you move on to the lenses. Then you move on to the Adobe suite. So you're stuck in Lightroom Classic, you know. So it's taken me 4 years to be in a position where now I feel like I'm able to produce videos, images, web pages that are close to what's in my mind, you know. So it's, I know it's a really long answer there, but it's just it's a 4 year process for me, you know, long time.
I mean, the YouTube thing I started almost 2 years now, all full 2 years. At the time, and here's a little background for you too, before I kind of ask you what your, who are some of your people that you look up to. At the time, I wanted the necessity of the video making and to shoot video was specifically for my band. At the time, we didn't have any videos. Granted, we could have done it with our phones, but I wanted something not necessarily higher quality, but I didn't want to use my phone to kind of do the things, because I was using my phone for like lyrics, and that takes it away. So I'm like, well, if I can't use that, what would I use it for after we're kind of going through the processes? So, and a bit of a necessity, I did my time, I bid, and got a camera. But before that, I learned how to video edit before I bought the camera. So I took 6 months out of the, I think it was 2014, I took 6 months. Every time I got home, I went ahead and got some clips. I had a couple of free trials of Adobe Premiere, and unbeknownst to me, you know, I didn't really look up to anybody. I just kind of clicked away. It's like, how do I cut? How do I, you know, remove something, or how do I splice this over? And at that time, there was this man called, well, not this man, but a fellow by the name Peter McKinnon kind of started blowing up into the scene. As everybody
knows Peter.
Right? But at the time, I had no idea. And when I got to his channel, he only had about like 1,000 subscribers or whatever. But the content was great, and I was kind of looking into it. But also at the same time, I really loved Casey Neistat's video because one, he's over here in New York City. Plus two, just the way he told the story was so good. I was like, wow.
Well, his dedication to the craft, you know, a vlog filmed and edited and published a day for at least a year, the strain that puts on you, even if you're a single guy and you're not looking after a family and children, but he did that with a newborn. Like, that's insane. And that is completely insane. So yeah, I feel you in respects to both of those YouTubers. Their work is incredible.
It's pretty phenomenal. So I fell in love with the storytelling of it all. And when I was like, I don't want to necessarily film like Casey, but I want to tell the story like Casey did. And then all of the tips and tricks that Peter McKinnon kind of evolved through the years. And I want to say that because the guy popularized the word B-roll, in my opinion. Everybody else knew what B-roll was, but everybody knew in the filmmaking world, B-roll was like your second cut, something to kind of splice you from what the main, beef and potatoes
your supplementary footage.
It's your supplementary footage. That's all it was. But for him, his B-roll
was his A-roll.
A-roll kind of. So it's like how it's like who thought that way, and why is it so interesting? I think that's why he got so. It just became so massive all in one go.
I mean, Peter McKinnon, he has so many things that work. For starters, he knows that it's about the person more than it's about the footage. You watch Peter McKinnon first and foremost because he's a fun guy. He takes everything on the chin. He has charisma, personality. Nothing seems to get him down, even though it's YouTube. So, you're always, the world is magnificent.
Yeah.
He's got the magic and the artistry and the subtle things he can do with his hands. He's an entertainer. And that is why Peter McKinnon is popular, because when you can be an entertainer and know exactly what to say in front of a camera, and then on top of that, you're very good handling the cameras, taking the shots, making the really cool 120 frame a second footage, you've got yourself a golden ticket. And he was exceptionally good. I mean, what I admire more about Peter McKinnon are the things that he doesn't talk about in videos. So when you look back to some of his earliest videos when he's walking around, Canada in some of the smaller towns, he's just doing normal vlogs like millions of other people. But then you think about the video he did, which was 10 quick photography hacks.
Blew him up.
That is what blew it up. But that video is so good because of the work that he did off of YouTube, the promotion of that, the sending out those links to all of the different forum sites, blog sites. And I kind of wish that YouTubers like that, and they won't do it because this is how they get the significant traffic and the virality. I wish that they would say, this is how I was able to turn this video into something that got 1 million, 2 million, because that's the real golden ticket there.
Yeah.
It's all the work behind the scenes.
So I tried the Casey Neistat way for a good 8 months. I uploaded once a day, every day. And it was ridiculous. And the videos were only 6 or 7 minutes, but you still had to fully edit it. I made it to a point, I'm like, hey, I wanna not like full on production, but at least color graded, with audio, nice background, the thumbnail, almost to what Casey was doing, but it was so much. It was so much, and I'm a full-time chef, and just to try to get at least 4 or 5 hours out of your day extra after you get home to do the vlog or whatever it is insane. I didn't get sleep, but it was. I think it was the fastest way to grow organically with your camera. Like I didn't know too much about my camera, but after that 8 months, I knew everything ins and out about it. I know how to shoot. I know what I wanted, almost to a T, where you're just kind of recording, and you would understand this too. After you get so used to it, by just flicking, you don't have to look at it. You just literally with your camera, boom, 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 settings, go record, and then out and out you go. And I think that's what we should all strive for. And I know this is like a really long 5-minute kind of convo, but who are some of the people that you look up to that kind of inspires you to do what you do? Besides Peter and Casey.
Well, yeah, Peter McKinnon, everybody knows him because his videos are so popular. So you go on YouTube and you do anything that's kind of photography, videography related, YouTube's going to just pump Peter in front of your face. But I actually prefer, Matti Haapoja, friends of Peter McKinnon. Yeah, so he kind of built up his success by working alongside Peter. His brother, so Matti Haapoja's brother, I really like his work. I really like his style. I like how honest he is in front of the camera. Like a lot of the time when you watch YouTubers, you think to yourself, you just read the title of the video. You haven't even clicked play and you know that they're making a video specifically to get more viewers. Whereas Matti Haapoja's brother, his channel, it feels much more natural. It doesn't feel like he's just creating content because he just wants to get growth. It feels like he genuinely loves what he does and he just wants to share it. But in terms of people who inspire me, I have to say that it's more musicians and YouTube channels that have music. I find music is kind of my main inspiration rather than watching other YouTubers. So channels like Majestic Casual, there's a channel called Electro Pose, which has music, again, that kind of lo-fi electronic style, that genre, but they just feature artists that you don't tend to hear much of, and I find music is probably more of my inspiration than other YouTubers, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It totally makes sense. I get the whole music thing too, being a musician and all. I don't necessarily veer towards videography so much, or like the YouTubers, but if we talk about music, that's an entire conversation altogether because it will become that's another.
We'd be here for weeks.
Okay, let's burst through these. Are you allergic to any kind of food?
Food, no, but I'm allergic to alcohol.
Is it the tannins?
I have no idea what it is. Since I was, forever. If I drink any spirit, any wine or beer, within a couple of minutes, I get these red rashes on my face, down my neck. I get headaches like you wouldn't believe. And the only thing I've found that I can drink that doesn't give me a reaction is melon liqueur called Midori.
Okay.
Have you got that in the States?
I think we do. I'm not so crazy about, I forget what the actual protein that's you're allergic to in alcohol, but some people are allergic to quite a bit of it, but most specifically to red wine. So the tannins in there are a lot more prevalent, but I forget what the specific protein is that people are allergic. I've had a few staff under me they cannot consume alcohol also. For that one specific reason, because they're allergic to it. And almost the same thing. They would flare up, but one of them would get almost like an irritation in their throat. I'm like, I don't think you should drink alcohol anymore. It's one thing to get rashes and if you turn red, sure, but if you start to kind of not breathe, that's
if you can't breathe, that's a serious problem. I don't mind it, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm allergic to penicillin.
Oh wow, that is a big one. Yeah.
Like one of the most commonly used drug to kind of cure. It's almost like a cure-all. I cannot use it. I go into shock, and it will kill me.
Oh dear, that's the worst one. Touch wood, then you don't have any accidents, and they need to do anything serious. Crazy.
Also,
so how did it go then? How did it go with your foot? Because I remember you saying that you had some issues with your... Did you need to take other drugs then for that? Was it painful or...?
Yeah, so after I went ahead and gone to the doctor, and after... I'll condense it. So I got my foot... I stubbed my toe, apparently. It turned black. I was like, okay, I stubbed my toe. I dropped something on it. I don't remember. 2 days later, it blew up. I was like, that's not normal. I went to the doctor. They scanned it, did an x-ray. They said nothing's wrong with it. Here's some drugs. I did tell them that I am allergic to penicillin. So they're like, okay, we will avoid that. They gave me some prescription and also an antibiotic. The next day, it blew up even more and it turned red. And since my wife works at a hospital, she's like, that's not normal. Let's go to the ER just in case, we don't want to lose your foot. Went to there. They said nothing's wrong with it. Did blood work. They sent me to a specialist. Did an MRI. Nothing's wrong with it.
Okay.
So
right.
I don't know what's going on with my foot. He did, after the follow-up, he did say he thinks that from the stub toe, you got a quick skin infection, and instead of just maybe, I don't know, getting like a rash or whatever, you got the full effect of something else from the skin infection. And since I was taking antibiotics already, it already cleared it out. So for the time being, we don't know what it is, but at the same time, it is over, and my foot is okay now. So
I'm glad to hear it, dude. I'm glad to hear it.
For the doctor to say he doesn't know, that's kind of scary. So yeah, it's a whole thing altogether. Organic or not, and food. Do you care?
To be honest, no preference. I think price. The price of something is probably the main sale point for me.
Got it.
Yep.
Have you tried vegetarian or vegan? Or
so a good friend of mine is vegan? No, I'm not vegetarian or vegan, but a good friend of mine is, and she has many times tempted me into the land of corn. And yeah, it's all right. I got nothing against it. I just think I'd settle for the real thing,
Got it. So no grass.
I've got full respect for anyone that decides to be, vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, whatever. Full respect for that. But personally, for me, I have no guilt when it comes to eating animals, with the exception of kangaroos. And I'm just used to it. Since a child, I've always been cooked and prepared, meals by my family when I was a youngster, and it just kind of rolls on from that.
Hey, I'm all for it. We're not necessarily a meat, or we're not carnivores here, but we're not vegetarians or vegans either. But I call when I say we, my wife and I, we have an 80-20 kind of eating habit. 80% pretty much vegetarian, vegan if we can, and then the other 20%, it's like every once in a while we'll have like a beef or something, or we'll have dairy, or we'll have maybe some more chicken. But I cannot go without pork. I mean, that's my likelihood. I mean,
that's your kryptonite then, yeah.
The whole podcast is named Chef Salty Pork because of
that's it. You gotta have the pork.
I'm Filipino. That's like in our blood. If you ever to slice my arm open, pork juice just will come out.
It's gonna squirt out, yeah.
Bacon lardons will kind of spew into.
Oh wow, that is vivid.
Couple more questions to you. Favorite food, and how do you prepare it if you do cook it? At
the moment, I've been getting into my potatoes. So me and potatoes, we're like this at the moment. We are slowly becoming one. So I don't know what the name is called, but they probably have some fancy name. I just chop them extremely thin.
Okay.
And then I will mix up a little bit of butter with a little bit of cooking oil, and then some honey and paprika, smoked paprika, like the dust. I mix that all together, and then I like to kind of just paste it over all of the slices, put it in the oven halfway through, turn them over, paste them again. That's probably my favorite food at the moment, those really kind of honey, paprika infused potato slices. Oh, that's good. So good.
Heard potatoes. Are you half Irish? Is that what it is? Is that what you're telling me right now?
No, 100%. Unless I'm adopted, 100% English. Yeah, I just really enjoy
that I spoke to, he was like, "I'm all about potatoes. I love potatoes. Anything potatoes." I was like, "Hey, I know that's what you guys do over there."
That's
and
it.
I love potatoes too. Not a big deal.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
You cannot go wrong. And then here's the kicker. My last and final question for you before we kind of move on to some of your stuff. Have you ever eaten Spam? Do you know what that is?
Spam? Yeah, we do tin Spam over here. I've never eaten it myself, but I've used it for fishing.
For fishing? As bait?
Yeah, for fishing. As bait, yeah. Yeah, you get yourself a bit of spam. You get a little bit of a leaf or a twig, and then you use that twig to keep the spam on the hook when you cast it out. Yeah.
Never heard of that. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
look that up.
A lot of people eat it in this
it.
country. The fish love it. Yeah, they do. They do love it. But yeah, personally, I've never tried it. But it is popular here. There's aisles full of tinned goods, and spam takes up, a big chunk.
Yeah. The reason I bring that up is because I've made it my life goal to spread the word of spam. It happened during World War II. Do you know why? Why it originated?
No idea.
If you can think about it, it's during the war, so they invented spam. So if you think about it,
so it's got longer life.
Yeah, the butchers already use pink salt to cure the meats, so they can kind of condense it and for you to store it. And the story goes, during World War II, they wanted the soldiers, instead of just eating, crackers or whatever that would be on the field, they needed to supplement them with some kind of protein that's a little heftier, and that's how they kind of invented spam, even though it come to you in a viscous kind of form, because it's gelatinous because of the pink salt is what we call it. I forget what the actual name the butchers would, but it's literally just cured whatever meat scraps that they can think of, and most likely pork, and it will live for like years. Which is kind of, it's interesting if you think about it. That's ingenuity in its best. But that's
it. Yeah,
I love spam. I freaking love it. We have this dish.
You know what? I will go out and I will buy some spam and I will eat it. And if I like it, I will spread. Casey told me to buy this. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, if it's good, I'll spread the word. I will spread the spam across the UK.
All right, let's get into. Let me see if I can put you into this side. Perfect. Actually, it's going into the other one. I do want to talk about. Oh, it's going through the second one. I do want to talk about your website here, GoPro After Dark. Why did you name it GoPro After Dark? I can't understand why. No, it confuses a lot of people. So when I came up with the name, obviously I've heard of GoPro. I know what GoPro cameras are. I have 2 of them myself that I've used before many times. It has nothing to do with GoPro cameras whatsoever. The name came from the fact that even to this day, I would get home from work, go chill out, make some food, have a shower, and it wouldn't be until the sun goes down and it gets dark that I would start then thinking about how I could shape and create this platform. That would be the time when I'd be reading and watching tutorials, going through blogs to figure out this setting, that setting, trying to understand and piece together how to put this brand and this platform. So the term GoPro After Dark just came from that, not only for myself trying to become more professional after dark, but also the people that I was consuming information from, the people whose passions were doing these tutorials on YouTube and giving out helpful guides on blogs and websites. So the name stems from that, GoPro After Dark. Nothing to do with GoPro cameras. Nothing to do with the brand.
No copyright intended at all.
But I understand it. It's after what you do from your 9 to 5. It's what's typically your passion anyway. So GoPro After Dark.
I think a lot of people are in the same position. Yeah,
I dig it. Going through your website here, fully immersive. Did you do all the work for this, or did you have? Is this Squarespace?
No, this is WordPress.org. So
there's WordPress.
So for any viewers who are completely new to going about making your own site, you can use pay monthly services like Wix and Squarespace. And they have a wealth of different templates, etc. But you are tied into paying monthly. So what I chose to do was go for a WordPress.org. And these sites power a hefty chunk of all websites online, including some of the real big boys. And similar to Squarespace, I'm sure you've all seen in plenty of ads and sponsored videos, you can create and use different themes, but you have more options for customization, and there is no monthly payments, which is why I opted to use a WordPress So for this precise one here, I am not a website designer and coder. I look at all of those, H-reference lang tags and all this stuff, and I just see the matrix. So I leave all of that stuff to a company called Fuel Themes, and they're the creators of the backbone and the structure. So the way that a menu moves, the way that the logo and the top bar will appear when you scroll up, I don't create those things. I create everything visually that you can see.
Got it. They provided all the codes and all pretty much the tabs and formulas. That's interesting.
The spine to the site.
It looks so good.
Yeah, thank you, dude. It's taken me... taken a while. But yeah, that's and that is something as well that I offer for other people as a paid service now.
This is just great. Just the way it scrolls through and everything. That way, like when I messaged you through Maddie's little kind of side project, let's just say that, I didn't think anything of it, and I didn't really click into it until you messaged me back, and then I was like, let me check out his website, and then came onto this. I was like, wow, this looks stellar. This is spot on. I actually thought it was Squarespace. I was like, is there a thing that I can use just like this? So I went through my Squarespace because I have Squarespace currently on our website, but this flows a little better than what I've chosen. I was interested. And also
Squarespace. I don't mean to sound like I'm putting them down, because I'm not. What you get with Squarespace is exactly the same as what you'd get if you choose to go with a theme developer who makes themes for WordPress. Same thing. I just personally, because I want to provide this service for other businesses, for other startups, to have a website that can be visual, immersive, hopefully quick to load, easy to navigate. I didn't want to partner with somebody who then charges monthly, if that makes sense. So for me, if say for example, somebody contacts me and says, oh, I like this site that you did for this person, or I like your site, could you create a website for my business? I'd say, what is it you do? And they'd say, I've just opened a florist. So we sell customized, beautiful flowers for, day-to-day sales, for wedding bouquets. By using a WordPress developer, it means that when I purchase a commercial license, it's just one charge. There's no monthly charges. When I think about when I think about how long it would take me to craft a customized website for this floristry business, including taking pictures and videos for the site, I can put a value to that time that I think it would take me. So 50 hours, 60 hours, etc. And the only other charge after that is one payment a year, which covers your hosting, so storing all of that information, and then a domain name renewal. That's it. So it just simplifies the process for me to offer it as a service to people.
A lot more simple with Squarespace. I mean, granted, it's pretty much drag and drop, but there's a lot of other loops that you kind of need to know. You'll kind of get lost in it. That's why they have a bunch of tutorials, and they do pretty much help you step by step. But it's quite a task. But this is so much simpler now that you're explaining it that way. And definitely, I dig it. It's so nice. Like it flows well, and I like the black and white. I love simplistic kind of things. I'm not too crazy on the, where like wipes and swipes and the whole shebang with some of the developer packs. But yeah, this is quite great. Now, knowing what it means, GoPro After Dark, what are some of the venues that you are looking forward to in the next couple of years? Or let's do like a generalized. What is your plans for the next 10 years?
Plans for the next 10 years? Okay, this is going to be a deep question. I'm afraid I do talk quite a bit. If I start rambling on, just let me know. This is deep. So, first and foremost, this idea for a platform is incredibly hard. It's incredibly hard to gain and keep followers, purely because most people, they have a niche. They center themselves. So, example for yourself, I can look at your social medias and I know that you love cooking, and I know that you are part of a band, these are the things that I get from your vibes. The cooking, the music, the guitars, simple. But with this platform, I'm like the narrator. I'm not really important.
Yeah.
What's important is the other people. And that makes it super, super tough to actually gain a following, because people aren't used to that. You know, one week we'll have somebody like yourself talking about being a chef, talking about your music. The next week we'll have somebody who loves cleaning, so we'll talk about their cleaning Instagram accounts, their cleaning business. A week after that we'll have somebody who likes, it could be knitting, it could be anything, as long as it can be visually expressed and people can fill in a Q&A, it will go up there. So my challenge for the first, I'd say 6 to 12 months, is establishing the website, getting more people involved, and trying to kind of build up the different passions and the different interests that people have, so they can be searched for, that new visitors can think, oh, okay, so if I click on shoot, that will lead me to people's passions that are photography based. If I click on eat, it will lead me to people who have an interest in food, you know. So that's kind of stage one. After that, I'd like to really start expanding on bringing in more people to help me out, because at the moment it's mainly myself that does everything, like the whole shaboodle. And when you scroll down on the homepage, you'll see that there are other team members, but these are people who are willing to work on very particular projects. So you have myself there to the far left, and then if a potential client said, we'd like you to do some photography, we're launching a new range of t-shirts, and they want online pictures for their web store, I can then say, well, somebody that I know who's very good at professional makeup artistry, she can come along, and it's a way that I can work alongside these people that I know and trust to help deliver a better project, if that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense.
So I think building that up and bringing in more people who can help me with certain projects if and when I'm contacted to do them, that's a big part of it. I want GPAD to be not just me working away on some screens. I want to build a community of creative people, and not just photographers, videographers, editors, sound designers, people who are creative in other fields. That's the kind of dream, perhaps for kind of year 1 to year 2. But it's a lot to do. I've definitely bitten off more than I can chew. Yeah, that's it. If I'd made the platform,
interesting part about it, that's the challenge. And I more so, just like same thing in the kitchen. It's like we're serving 500 people today. I have a capacity of 20. I'm like, okay, let's go. You know? That's
it. Yeah,
that's why I feel for when you said the passion. I was like, hey, we're pretty much in the same mind space. That's why I completely dig it. So you're just trying to be a virtual Google. That's what it is. You can say it. It's okay. I dig it. So when we be like, hey, I need somebody, we go to GPAD, and it's like you're pretty much Google right there. Like I'm looking for.
The way I see it is like it's the ultimate window shopping. So you know when you're out, you're out in a town and you're walking around, or you're sitting in a cafe and you're sipping your mocha and you're looking out the window, you kind of take a look at people, and in your head you might not be consciously aware of it, but you're thinking, I wonder what that person's up to, I wonder where they're going. I kind of want GPAD to be something like that, where if you're stuck in a rut and you just want to go and see what some people are doing, what their dreams are, where they are right now, what their aspirations are, what hobbies they enjoy, you can go to this site and you can just flick through, and at the bottom there's links so you can reach out. You can get through that first hurdle of trying to start something for yourself. You're just literally just getting up, doing something, learning from it, making mistake after mistake, but picking yourself up. I want this to be that kind of place for the normal viewers, and on the other half of it, I want people who would like some kind of creative service, whether they want product photos or whether they like my style of portrait shots or more videos, which are going to be coming. They can also get in contact with me and book me book me for a creative package. So 50-50 free for everybody to view and check out other people's interests, and then the other side, if people want to pay for a particular service, they can get in touch with me, you know.
That's so awesome. It's like a new wave, I'm calling it. If you're not familiar too, let's just say in the streaming world, so it's a whole mess when we talk about music and what you can play, right? This has been the battle for ages, and I can tell you all about it. I'm in the music business. I know all the rights and lyrics. However, the main concept is the companies who publish the music don't want you to play it if they're not getting revenue for it. That's the bottom line. Secondly, if they don't give you permission, not the artists, if you self-publish like my band do, it's permission from us, and we can give you permission. But if it's like a band with, like, let's just say Sony or Columbia Records, you need to go through Sony or Columbia to clear it, right? You need the rights for it. Most of the time when you do get the right, it's like $300 for like the 3 minutes that you're paying. Not people do not want to pay that, you know what I'm saying? So they go to like streaming service like Spotify or Apple Music, whatever it is, they think that's enough. It isn't. So that's like the whole mess of the DMCA. Did you know, and this kind of like-minded of what you're doing here on, I'm going to say this as a startup once you get fully live. Have you heard of this man called Harris Heller? He's a streamer.
I've heard the name. Yeah, I've heard the name. He does PC, Alpha Gaming?
Alpha Gaming?
Alpha Gaming, yeah. I've seen some of his stuff.
Yeah, so he is the first of his kind. I'm going to say it's like a rare animal. He's the first of his kind to release a full album for streaming specifically of over, I think like 120 songs now. Only for specific uses for streaming and YouTube, whatever you can fancy, you can use his music entirely. And he made this possible for everybody. In the same mind, like he had the idea 3 or 4 years ago. He made it into realization now. Everybody can use it. So in terms of what you're doing also, and I'm really excited for the next few years happening here, where this is going to be like, just go to GPAD. People will have it over there. I'm really excited for you to get in the same kind of same mind space where people will go for like that website to look for people in the same space that he is going, where he just released all this for free. People can listen to this and you can stream it without getting taken down, and that's most important.
That's it. Yeah.
Is that the same kind of space that we're talking about for your website?
Does he charge?
No.
For the music? Free. Completely free, yeah? In which case, I like your style, dude. I like your style.
It is free.
Yeah, I want it to always be a free platform for people to submit. I do want to keep the quality to a particular standard. So there will be times, I'm sure, when people will submit and I'll have to just really politely just decline, but perhaps the images and things they supply for their page, they're not quite on par. But other than that, it will always be free. And I want it to be a platform where if you're just a bit out of sync and you've got this idea that you want to just create, whatever it be, you can visit this site and just see what other people are doing. Because what I've noticed from the 6 or 7 that I've put up so far since we launched 6 days ago is that when you look at people's answers, there's a lot of similarities. And I know that we're still very much in the passions of taking photos, making videos, but as we kind of expand and take on different passions, which is what I really hope for, I think that a lot of people would take some inspiration from reading through. Like, for example, your page that's now live, I read through and I look at your questions, and before I know it, an hour and a half's gone by. I've sat and I've looked at your vlogs. I got almost teary-eyed at your anniversary video, which was beautiful.
Thank you.
By the way, I'm on your website and I'm looking at the music. I want people to do that. I want people to go there, find people that have a similar passion, whether it is to eat, to shoot, to jump, to fly, to vape, to film, whatever the word is that I use just to make navigation easier on the site. I want them to go onto those people's pages, explore them, reach out to them, collaborate. And yeah, if that is similar to the whole free music for streamers, then yeah, I'm all for it, definitely. As long I'm not a greedy person, and as long as I make enough money to allow me to eat and to drink and to go on a holiday perhaps once a year and, you know, pay taxes and all this stuff, I'm not a very materialist. I like technology and cameras and stuff that can perhaps benefit what I'm trying to do, but other than that, I'm a man of very few pleasures, and one of them is documenting passionate people for free, and it will always be free.
Oh my God. You are an amazing person, Mark. I'm glad that we managed to meet each other, because I feel like you're my brother from the other side of the water. We
cross the pond. That's it.
It's like the same frequency, the same passion. I'm more so in a cooking realm and in the band realm. You're just passionate in what you do, on documenting people. But before we do end, I know it just felt like we were talking for 20 minutes. Before we do it, I would like for you to just kind of tell people where to find you, what to kind of go, and I'll make sure to link all the destinations underneath on the podcast to make sure people can find it. But go on ahead, you have the floor right now. Just tell us where everything is, and that way people can look up and where all these goodness.
Okay, yeah. So the home of everything will be the website. So that is simply goproafterdark.com. And after that, everything from that site will start to just leak down to the social media. So Instagram is where I'm most active, purely because I can put people's passions into the grid in little 9x9 blocks, so it kind of tells a small story. It's easy for people to kind of understand and navigate, and I love making Instagram stories. It's good fun, really enjoy it. That's where most of my followers are engaging and viewing me. I have a Twitter account. Again, I have Pinterest and all the others. Just go onto them and search for GoPro After Dark, and you'll find different styles, different posts, different work across all of them. And yeah, come say hello. Go check out the website. You can submit your own passions. It's a short questionnaire that has just some fun questions about you, what you do, why you do it, as well as things about places you've been, places you'd like to visit. All of these questions just give our web viewers a bit of an inkling as to who you are as a person and what makes you tick. So yeah, come along, check it out. It'd be great.
It's an amazing website, an amazing person by Mark. GoProAfterDark.com. If I haven't mentioned again, GoProAfterDark.com. The website feels really slick, and it's fully done. And just if I didn't know until I questioned it, you pretty much did all this all together, and it's just the amount of work. I understand. I understand. So truly appreciative of what you're doing and everything else. But Mark, thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by on the podcast. And I was fully expecting like the same as, just here in my apartment, but you go ahead and show up with a whole production right behind you as well. It's just, again, from my brother to the other side, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome anytime. Thanks for having me.
All his links underneath below. Come check it out. GoProAfterDark.com. GoProAfterDark.com. Matt, ladies and gentlemen, we are out.